podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Coach Unplugged. I'm so happy you decided to join us today. Before we jump into the podcast, I'd like to give a big shout out to our two sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the number one shooting machine on the market. We own 3 of them, and I can tell you personally, even before they became sponsors, their customer service is second to none. Every time I've had any issues with any of my machines, going back to the way old ones, they've always taken really good care of me. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com. Oh, and mention us, and they'll give you $450 off. Mention Coach Collins or Coach Unplugged, they'll give you $450 off. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. We always tell our players that they should be working on their craft. I challenge you to work on your craft. Come over, join a community of like-minded coaches who want to make this game better. It's the reason I started Teach Hoops, is to help pay the bills for all these podcasts, but even more importantly, to give back to this great game that has given me so much, and to set up a roadmap for you to be successful, not only on the court, but off the court. And we offer a 14-day free trial. So come over and kick the tires around, see if you like it. And let's head off the podcast.
And what I did was I just did some research. I looked into different types of defenses. One of the ones that really stuck out to me was Tyler Costin's lock left. Are you familiar with that one?
I am. We run something different called the funnel down, but it's similar. We double. We have different. Yeah.
Well, I got into that, and there's parts of it I don't like, and there's parts that I really, really like. And so
that's what I did. I took what I liked, and then I didn't. Then because we trap short corner behind the backboard.
Gotcha.
Funnel down. Because you have a defender in that back. So we funnel into that. The hard part with here's the problem I have with lock left with Tyler. Tyler's an unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Follow him. He's unbelievable. Very good. Great teacher. Is with at the boys game, they're going to get it on the other side. I'm sorry. They just are. I'm dealing with athletes. You're not going to lock them on the left, and you're not going to lock them on the left half the time. So that's why we funnel we want to go left, but if they get on the right side, we just funnel on the right side. So we teach that, okay, now they're funnel on the right side. They're probably a little bit better going to the right, which means we just got to we got to get over a little bit more than we do on the left. That's part of it, is like, I like that lock left, but I think it works better for the girls game in some respects, especially the lower level girls game.
Well, I took parts of that, and I then found Chris Beard's Texas Tech defense that he ran on his way to the national championship. And I took kind of that and molded it together and kind of made my own. I love that. And what I kind of wrote.
And that's what everybody, I don't mean to interrupt. That's what everyone should do that's listening to this. I mean, I run funnel down, I run other things. You got to figure out what works for your team, for the coaches that are listening. So there is no secret sauce. Sorry, Chick-fil-A, but there is no secret sauce. You got to find your secret sauce for you.
Well, and I wrote this too. So the first step, like in changing your program, just do your research. I feel like, even as from a teaching standpoint, I feel more confident when I'm in front of students, when I know more about my subject. And so my goal was to find out everything I could about lock left and everything I could about Chris Beard, and then figure it all out and then piece it together. And then my next step was just to write it all out, write out all my terminology. What am I going to say to players? What can I say to them that it may be 1 or 2 words, but it means a whole paragraph of words? What's our language going to be like from the bench to the players and from coaching to players, because you only have a limited time and timeouts. So I really wrote out the terminology. I wrote out the expectations. What are we expecting when a person closes out? What are we expecting, on screens, all this, so that it's all clear and transparent. And then lastly, just kind of, what are we going to chart? If this defensive minded program is going to be important to us, we can't just say, oh yeah, we want to be better at defense. No, we got to have some things that we check off, some things that we check and chart. And so I kind of wrote that all out for our team. And then the last part, you got to sell it. You know how it is as a coach. You got to sell it. But I found
You can
out,
sell anything to teenage boys. Trust me, if you sell it right. I'm convinced of that. I am.
well, you got to sell it. You got to sell it with your words and your actions.
You do.
And that's the key part. I can blow up a bunch of smoke about this defensive program that I'm all into, but if it's not showing in practices and what I say and what I do on a game day, it means nothing.
Yeah, and you got to sell defense. I'm convinced you got to sell defense more because they all want to do whatever you say offensively. Couple things.
Go ahead. Go ahead, because I want to get more into the sell part, but you go, man. Go
Okay.
for it.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to talk before we get to the terminology part. So explain what you do with terminology, because I think that's important. You need a dictionary. You need and when you're building a program, I agree. You need terms that you're going to use so your freshman coach knows. I mean, yeah, it's basically an encyclopedia, a dictionary, a Bible, whatever you want to call it. It's a list of here's what we're going to do, and here's the terms. And some people call it helpline, some people call it goalie, some people. You got to come up with a term so everyone knows what you're talking about. Otherwise, there's no language. I love that. How did you do that when you came up?
So did a little bit of some PowerPoint, did a little bit of some writing it out, and showed them. I even showed them, like, for instance, when I do this. That means you need to think smarter. You need to think about your actions, like think before you process that. Fist, things like that. High five. One of the things we did was kills this year. Have you heard? I'm sure you've heard of kills, where 3 stops is a kill. We bought in onto that, and the guys loved that and went crazy for that. Kills is 3 stops. Our drop man, stunt hunt man, our goalie. We tried to make it very, very short and sweet, because you can't sit in the game and explain something to somebody, hey man, you need to drop back and make sure you're in this part. No, we just say, look, drop. That's your signal to, oh, I got to get back. I got to get back in my stance. I got to be looking at my man and ball. Where is it at? I'm looking to try to get a steal. Just the terminology, writing it out and explaining it to the players. And then
I think it helps you as the coach. For the people listening, I think it helps you too. Yes, it doesn't matter what you know, it matters what they know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think writing that out and you'll be surprised. Like, you'll forget stuff, and when the first time I did that is and I love the kills because it's 3. If you've listened to any of my stuff, people remember things in groups of 3. That's why our phone numbers broken up, our social security numbers broken. People can't remember long things. It's just, that's not the way your brain is wired. So we do kills too. We also, if someone scores if we don't get 3 stops or someone scores on us 3 straight times, we're out. We change up what we're doing defensively. We do things based on that 3. So I love, and the boys know that it's like 3 stops, 3 scores, whatever. It's we're the small little tidbits, those tapas values I love that.
Well, I love the 3 mainly because before kills, the mindset is looking at the whole game, the game as a whole. And if you break it into 3 possessions at a time, it helps keep the short attention spans from these kids, because you know how it is. Phones, tablets, all these things, like, it gets lost. And if they can focus on 3 things, 3 possessions, and do well with that. Plus, we have a rule that when it's kill time, the bench tells the players on the court. So, like, when we get into that 3rd possession, the assistant coach who's charting it will say, guys, it's a kill. And then the bench will go nuts. Kill. And so, all of our guys, they get pumped, they get excited, because, like, here's a chance for a kill. Here's a chance to get a stop. And it helps. It helps out in so many ways, just putting that emphasis on, we are focused on defense. And I'm going to get into more of that in a little bit.
Yeah, I love that. So there's something I do too. I'm going to tell you that, like, at the end of a game or at the end of a quarter or something, or big parts of a game, you basically got it in stats teacher. You got to get a stop, a score. Like, I'll come to a timeout and I say, we're here right now. Get a stop, score, stop, and we're done. Like, you stop them and you score, and then you stop them again. Game over. We don't have a shot clock either. I have to come up with a name. I just wrote myself a note. I got to come up with a name for that, like an acronym or something. But we'll do the other way too. We'll do score, stop, score, game over. Like, if we have the ball, we'll go the other way. Because again, the way their brains are, because they're on Snapchat or TikTok or whatever they're doing, it's small. So in the timeouts, they're going like, yeah. It's like, I go, come on, right now. We get a stop, a score, and a stop. Game. We'll play 45 games over. we're in the bonus, game's over. You know that. And we'll practice that. And I love that. And it's a short little, it's again, that group of three thing. I love that. I love it.
Speaking of the groups of three, so 1, do your research. 2, write it out. And then 3, sell it. So can I share my screen real quick? I want to show
go ahead.
a little something right
People
now.
that are listening, I'll put this down in the show notes too. So you can watch it later.
So let me make sure I get this right. All right.
Mascot, you're Spartan?
No, it's the Knights.
The Knights.
The Knights. So there's the 3. Do your research, write it out, sell it with your words and actions. And then this is what I did with my team. I have a classroom. And so this is my whiteboard right here. And I wrote out these 3 things. And I said, guys, if I could take our schedule and I put all of our games in categories, these are the 3 categories that they belong. Number 1, games you're supposed to win. Those are the blowout games. Those are the games like we know we're playing this small school or the school that's never been good. Like they're the games you're supposed to win. The second one, 50-50 games. Those are the tough games. Those are the games that, you get really pumped and excited for, chance to win, but you got to earn it. And then the last one, games you are not supposed to, to win. The games that you're supposed to lose.
And you do this in your classroom with your team. With
my team. I wrote all 3 on the board.
Them because I'm telling you, my guys are going to put none in the lose section.
Well, here's the deal. I'm very honest and very transparent about that. And I will tell teams up front, like, you are supposed to lose this game, but we have a chance. And I kind of get into that because I don't want to be the coach that like tells them we're going against Goliath here. And we're like, we're 20-point underdogs here. Oh, guys, man, we're going to beat these guys by 50. Like, heck no, I lose all credibility with these kids. So I feel like if I'm just honest and I tell them where it's at, they're more likely to buy into my strategy.
I agree. I'm just conceptually going through this in my head right now with the group I have. And it's like, I would put a couple over here that we're playing pretty good teams, but this would be an interesting, we might have to try this year. Cause this would be an interesting, I'm not sure the 50, they would have 80% over in the games we are supposed to win category, I think. And maybe that's me just selling them really well. I don't know.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So I showed them that and I said, look, there's an X factor here, an X factor that can change all 3 to make us better. And I wrote on a blue marker, granted with this PowerPoint, I've got this. I wrote defense underneath each one. I said, defense is the X factor that's going to affect each one of these, and it's going to make us better. I said, let's start with the first one. Here's what's going to happen with games you're supposed to win. Number 1, it's going to build confidence because we're going to yep, our defense works. The things that we're trying to do are working against this team. And the best part is, we don't have a magic number where you have to get like 7 kills a game, but we try to get as many kills as we can and really focus.
So you haven't charted that and figured out.
I've charted it. On wins, we averaged about 5 to 6
kills.
On losses, we had about 1 to 2. That's where we averaged.
So you are tracking it. So at some point you're going to be able to, because I'm just telling you, as you do this longer, you're going to know, like, if you do this for 2 more years, you'll have 4 years of data. You'll know, like, if we get 6 kills, we're going to win. Like, you're going to know.
Me and my assistant, we really push for like 2 kills a quarter. That's kind of what we've been trying to push. Cause that's a little bit of, it's hard. It's hard to do, but, and one of the things too, one of the things I shared with the guys, I showed a clip. I don't know if you've seen it. Nick Saban, head coach for Alabama. There's a funny clip where he is up like 58-0 on a team, like destroying a team. And he's going nuts on his players. They had lined up a certain way, like they weren't doing what they're supposed to. And he's going off. And I was like, guys, I'm not like Nick Saban. I'm not going to go off on you. But do you understand why he has that intensity? And, they're like, yeah. And I was like, because he has an expectation and they've got to meet it no matter who they're playing against.
Right.
And so with our defense, we're going to work on our defense, whether we're playing somebody we're supposed to beat by 20 or somebody that we're supposed to lose by 20. So we want to keep our expectations, and kills really helps with that. Really 3 possessions at a time. You're not worried about the score. You're focused on yourself and focused on getting stops. Now the 50-50 games, this is what I told them. It turns the game into a 60-40. Defense gives you, if you have 2 teams that are even, talent, skill, strategy, plays, 50-50, what's going to give you that bump? Defense is going to basically push it up to a 60 and make them go to a 40. And that's our goal. If we can be the better defensive team against teams we're even with, we're going to win every time, 60-40. And then the last one, my guys like this one. Besides building confidence, getting kills against the top tier teams, because that will carry you the rest of the season.
Yes.
If you got a team that even if they beat you by 30, heck yeah, we got 3 kills on our starting 5 in the first 2 quarters. That's going to help as coaches really build that confidence in your players and say, look, you can do this. You just got to keep doing it throughout the game. And then lastly, it gives you a chance. And one of the things I did with them, and I've updated it since then, I shared what's the greatest upset in NCAA tournament history?
NC State.
Nope. UMBC,
Villanova.
No, UMBC, Virginia. 16-1.
Oh yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But
The
I'm
greatest.
just talking about. I was thinking championship. I was thinking, okay,
No, the greatest. And I updated it with the Purdue one. I'll share that in a second. So I shared with them some stats. I said, like, Virginia, there's got to be a reason why Virginia lost to a 16 seed. They're not supposed to. If they played UMBC 20 times, guarantee you Virginia wins 19 out of the 20 times. And we got to see the 20th of those games. And it was all their defense. And I shared these stats with them. So Virginia averaged from 3-point, they averaged 38% on the season. Most games they win were way over that. Well, against UMBC, 18%. And you and I both know that in college, it's not that you really get wide open shots. It's you got a hand in your face, hand in your nose,
right,
whatever. Also field goal percentage, they went from they're averaging 47 and higher to about 41%. And I said, guys, that's what gave UMBC a chance. They contested shots, played tough defense, and really just wore down Virginia when it came to that greatest.
And you got to be there. You got to be there at the end. If you're there in the last 4 minutes, you got a shot. Because they'll start looking. That's what I tell my guys when we were playing. Like, if you're there at the end, that's why when you're supposed to win, you got to put them away. Because if you're there, if it's a game with 4 minutes, I love that.
Well, and I added, so after March Madness this year, Purdue, another number 1 seed, I looked at the same stats, same thing, and I added it for next year when I sell it to my players again. Same thing. It's crazy. Purdue was averaging 32% on the season for their games, scoring a lot higher than that from 3-point, and they had 19.2% that game. Field goal shooting, 45% on the season. They shot 35.8. And wow. Purdue, if you did you watch Purdue much this year?
I did. I had them going too far in my bracket, to be honest with you. I should have known better. Young guards and the big guy should have known better.
Well, they were high. The reason I bring that up is they were a very high scoring team, and they averaged about 73 points per game, and they lost and only had 58. Like, that's defense.
Yeah.
Both great upsets, defense. And that's what I sold them on. Well, the Virginia one, not the Purdue one. Purdue one's for this year. But it gives you a chance. You're not supposed to win 19 out of 20 times, but what if tonight's that 20th?
I love
and
that.
Your defense is going to set the tone for you to get a chance to beat them. So that's why I sold them on. And then they, from there, using the terminology and using the drills and getting into it, it was awesome. It's just, I charted some things I wanted to share with you. So year 2 for me, this is, year 1 was COVID and year 2 is kind of a normal year. This is where I did help defense and deny and all that stuff. I charted charges, steals, blocks, and turnovers, all the essential.
So say that again. You did shots.
I did charges.
Okay.
Steals.
Yep.
Blocks.
Okay.
And then opponent turnovers for year 2.
Okay.
And
that's what started during the game.
Well, these are charted at the end of the season because I do huddle charts it for me. And so I charted those things. And at the end of the season, I had them all listed out. And I told myself, I want to beat these numbers, with our defensive minded system. From charges, year 2 to year 3, charges, we had 43. And we played, now granted, all these stats, we played 30 games year 2. We played 29 games year 3. So we played one less game, mind you. So year 2, we had 43 charges. We went to 62 charges. Steals, we had 231 steals in year 2. We went to 315 steals in year 3. Blocks, 20, and granted, 6'6" kids, okay? 20, we went to year 3, went to 35. And then opponents' turnovers, we went from 473 to 552
Oh, that's interesting. So what put them in order of importance? I know what I think my order of importance defensively. Okay.
Number one, charges. I'm huge on charges, man.
Okay. I would agree.
Opponents' turnovers would be 2.
Yeah.
And then I'd go steals 3 and then blocks last.
Yeah, blocks is a funny stat from a stats teacher. It's like, I'm not sure the cost benefit, unless you got an aircraft carrier, is worth it on blocks. I'm just not. Like,
yeah,
you get 5 fouls. And if you're a good, they'll hear me say this the third week. I've had like 3 shot blockers in 30 years. The rest of you are just foulers because you don't shot blocker blocks a shot. It's a volleyball thing. They block it. They don't foul. They don't get foul. They don't foul the thing. So blocks is that one thing that I've always, it's like, I'm not sure the cost benefit on blocks. It's just a food for thought for coaches listening to.
Well, I limit my players in blocks because I teach that you have to be the second person to jump. And so a lot of
that helps. That solves the problem. Yeah.
A lot of great block shotter or the tongue tie. A lot of great shot blockers are first jumpers. They anticipate the shot, they jump, they block. And so we still have guys try it. Don't get me wrong. There's still kids that want to block shots.
Now, what about steals? Do they get out of position on steals?
Steals, it's mostly, so the way we work is we push the sideline. And so our steals are going to come from either the guy on the ball. Yeah. Or our stunt and hunt. So we don't teach deny. We teach you're there and you're hovering and you'll do a little stunt when a guy drives, but then you need to take away the pass because the most shot in training videos that you will see of all these kids on Instagram and whatnot, they're all practicing threes. They're all practicing dribble moves to shoot a 3, kick out 3s. I mean,
yes, they are.
Most kids on the gun, they shoot 3s. You know, it's all.
And what do you say before we go on deeper? What should a kid shoot? I asked my players this the other day. What should you shoot in an empty gym on a machine, percentage wise? 3 from 3.
From 3?
Empty gym.
40 to 50?
Oh, higher than that. No. It should be between 60 and 70. Because you're going to drop about 15 to 18 percentage points in a game, and then you're going to drop another 7 to 8 percentage points with a hand in your face.
Can you send me one of your 60 to 70% shooters, 3-point shooters?
Sure. One of them is my son. It's like he can shoot 70% in an empty gym with a gun. Man. It would be ding, 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 ding. And because it's like shooting a free throw. There's nothing to it. Okay. I'm just saying. So most people around the country, in an empty gym, you should be in the 60% range. High 50s at the worst because there's no one there defending you. You're going to drop 15 to 20 percentage points in a game. Yeah, easy. But anyway, that's stats teacher. Sorry. Keep going.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, so we charting that, kind of showing that, and I'm excited because I get to show the guys this coming year these stats and show them, hey, look, this defense works. You're going to be better. You're going to do better things, and then just building on that. Because now I have guys that actually know it, the guys that are returning and then kind of adding some new guys into the fold. So really excited to kind of work on this. And
hey, everybody, thanks for listening. If you'd like to support us, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Also, subscribe and like. We do appreciate those. Have a great day.
That sound could mean a lot of things. And when something's going wrong at home, the hardest part can be figuring out what the problem actually is. At Thumbtack, you can upload a voice message or a photo, and our AI-powered search will help diagnose your project. Plus, the pros we know have over 14 million 5-star reviews, so you can hire with confidence. Thumbtack, we know homes. Hire the right pro today.